Hello everyone and welcome. When you create a point cloud with MicMac, it doesn't know which way is up and it can't tell the size of the area that you photographed. So there's an extra step you can take where you take your point cloud, you tell it which way is up, tell it where the ground is and which way is left and right. And in this video I'm going to demonstrate that process. So here's one of the images that I'm taking. It's just a bunch of blocks and measuring tape so I can check the scale at the end and actually do the measurements. So I'm going to get started. Head on over to the GUI. I'm going to clear the copy the image. Wood blocks 3 because it's the third time I've tried this. Select all the images and open. And it brings it in. 35mm equivalent. And the width of the images is 6,000 pixels. I'll go up to Tapioca to do the tie point matching. And I'm going to set full size for the final. And I think that will get me just a little bit more accuracy when I go to do the measurements. So I'm going to go ahead and run that and pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, tie point matching is complete. 1 hour 38 minutes. I'm just gonna take a look at how some of the tie points look. Okay, I think that looks good. Time to go on to the camera calculation step. I'm going to clear the selection. I'm going to take the first, take the first 5 and use them for the calibration step. I'm going to change it to radial standard just because, and run it. Okay, it's all green, looking good. Now I'll feed that information back in, choosing Orient Final, and select all images, and run that. And I'll pause the video and come back when this step is done. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes and the calculations are complete. It's mostly green with a little bit of blue mixed in, so it should be good. I'm going to close that and then check the result. We're running a 3D preview. Okay. Take a look. Cameras all look pretty good. And that looks workable. Now here you can see us at an angle with the blue line here indicating straight up and down. So the next step, we'll set some points and set a mask and hopefully get that righted up. So just to SB globe bascule, scene basic. I'm going to clear the selection, use the first couple of images to define the points, and I'll start that up now. Okay. I'll start by defining line 1 and line 2. That determines the x direction. And you do that within only one image. So I'll use the top of the T here. Click on line 2 and use the end of the letter here. Okay, now the x-axis is defined. Next, I'm going to define the origin, and I'm going to use this point here. It's the origin. This is pretty close to the center anyway. Find that in the first image. This one has to be defined in at least 2 images. I'm going to come down here, drag it over, and right-click and validate. And that turned it black here, indicating that it's been validated in all the images that are open. It also shows down here in green that it's valid. Let's see. Now to do the Ec1 and Ec2 to define the scale. Okay, I'm going to put Ec1 right at this small division just before 1. And set its location in the second image. Just click and drag it over. And right-click and validate. Now Ec1 is complete. And for Ec2, I'm going to go just short of 10 inches. So the distance will be 9 inches total. So select Ec2, set it here. And set the corresponding location in the second image. Drag that over, right-click and validate. Okay, and that's it. All the points have been set to define the scale and orientation, or part of the orientation, for the x direction. So I'm going to go up to File and Exit. It's done. Now I'm going to set a couple of masks to define the z direction, indicated here in the 3D view as the blue axis. I'm going to press here to do a mask on the first image. I'm just going to click to create the polygon on this surface. Right-click to end it, and space to select. And File and Save Mask. and exit. Now put a mask on the second one. And save that. And I think I'll put a mask on one more. Maybe this image here. Left click, draw the polygon. Right click and space to select. And save mask. It'd probably be good enough to do it on one image, but if you do it on multiple images, if there's any variation, it'll kind of average it out and give a better result. Okay, save mask and exit. Okay, I've defined the points, I've masked the images, and I'm defining the ground direction from the mask, so I check that. I set the EC1 and EC2 points so I know how big the scene is. So I check here, set it to the 9 inches, and select all images, and calculate. Okay. Close that. I'm going to apply that to the cloud points. Now all the points in the cloud should be scaled and rotated so that it's right side up and it's the proper scale. Okay. Now that it's been processed, I'll do a 3D preview to check the results. Okay, everything is right side up. I'm going to check ground defined. Because of a bug, it gives a double image, but it does show, or it should show, that the origin is approximately in the right spot. And yeah, that looks good. All right, the next step is do that. So I want to mask this out because I don't want any of this extra information. I'm going to make a 3D mask to clean up the cloud. Middle mouse wheel in. Go to selection, point selection, and click around. And right click to end, and just like before, spacebar to select. Go to File and save the selection info. And exit. And next up, a dense point cloud. I'm going to choose MicMac. All the images are selected and start. And this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'll pause the video here and come back when it's complete. Okay, that's done. About 30 minutes have gone by. Let's take a look, see if we got anything. And it looks like the display has failed. I'm going to restart the program. Yeah. Okay. Load a mesh file, see if it's there. Here it is. Okay. We got a result. Facing up in the right direction. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this up in MeshLab and see if the measurements are correct. And MeshLab. Okay, I'm going to import a mesh and see if I can find that. I get a shortcut. C3DC, MicMac. All right. It's like 1.8 million points. I'm going to see if I can measure the size of this bolt. Okay, the measuring tool, click the starting point, escape, rotate around to the other side, start up the tool again, click, get 0.76, shown here in the upper right. And I have it written down somewhere. I measured it. I think it's off a little bit. It should be 0.74 inches. So it's off by 0.02 inches. 0.02 inches. And let's see, that comes out to about half a millimeter. So yeah, the scale is good. Okay, I guess that ends it. I just wanted to show how to get it properly oriented and scaled, and to show how you could maybe measure something in the 3D cloud that's been created. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to you. Bye.